This past Tuesday, I had the opportunity to interview a guy named Justin Lisk for my career interview. He works with NC State Athletics in the marketing department. I asked him a series of about 12 to 13 questions. The first one being, what was your major in college and did you have any minors? He said he attended NC State and he had obtained a BS in sport management. He started off minoring in marketing but then switched over to coaching education because it was something he had an interest in and thought it would be fun to do. And then post graduation, maybe participate in coaching on the side of his main career. Uh, Next question I asked him was, what extracurriculars and other experiences did you participate in to help prepare you for a career after college? So the main thing he talked about was that he was involved in the student marketing volunteer program his sophomore, junior, and senior years at state. This program basically gives students the opportunity to get involved with the athletics marketing program and game day operations in addition to other office responsibilities. Uh, he said that being involved in this program allowed him to gain experience with the marketing staff at NC State and ultimately afforded him the opportunity to obtain an internship as a marketing assistant with athletics upon his graduation from state. See, the third question I asked was, what has your career path looked like since graduation? So after that internship he obtained post-graduation, he was promoted to a full-time position with the marketing staff as the associate director of marketing. Then in March of this year, he was promoted again to associate director of marketing with the department. So based on that, he's moved fairly quickly up the ladder within this organization, and he said, that was kind of a positive of his career path so far. Next question was, what are the major responsibilities you have as the AD of marketing with athletics? So his main focus and responsibility is women's basketball. The marketing department, he said, kind of has this big four that they really focus on, and those are football, men's basketball, women's basketball, and baseball. And for the big four, each person within the department kind of has their main focus on that specific sport. He said he also does volleyball marketing and oversees the marketing assistants on various other sports, including women's soccer, wrestling, rifle, and tennis. He also looks over the marketing plans that assistants produce and approves them or provides assistance and guidance whenever possible. Another one of his major responsibilities are the bills and finances associated with marketing. He said that any bills or items they purchase that have to be paid via invoice, it's Justin that's responsible for getting that squared away and sent over to the business office. And then lastly, he also leads the process of hiring the marketing assistants for the department. And we said on top of that, there's various other responsibilities he'll have throughout a given day or week. Let's see, the fifth question I asked him was, when hiring the marketing assistants, what are some of the major things you look for? So right away he stressed the number one thing they take a look at is the experience that the applicant has. It lets them know that they have seen the inside of a marketing slash athletics department before. He said that was crucial. He stressed that there are a lot of intricacies within athletics marketing that you may not be aware of if you've only been involved in general marketing practices. Sport has a lot of specific aspects to it that he thought were very important that applicants had seen prior to obtaining a position. And some of those intricacies within sport marketing that he talked about involved being around game day atmospheres, promotions, creativity specific to sport marketing, selling tickets, and generating revenue through some of these different processes, etc. The next question was, in a typical day, what does your schedule look like generally? And right away he stressed that there is no typical day within athletics marketing. It's always varying. It really depends on what events or games they have coming up, depending on whatever season they're in, or whatever they have going on a given day. Well, we did say, typically when he comes in the morning, he's catching up on emails, and typically working on either game scripts for upcoming events, that may be coming up, or working on contacting groups for in-game promotions for those events. So he's also in the morning likely to be working on marketing plans for upcoming seasons. He mentioned that he just recently finished the marketing plan for the women's basketball season, which is coming up shortly. And then throughout the rest of the day, he'll likely be helping out the rest of the marketing staff wherever needed. So that could consist of a variety of different needs and tasks. The next question I asked him was, how large is the marketing staff for our specific athletics department? He said that the staff is relatively small compared to other universities across the country. Our athletics department only has 3 full-time staff members. Those positions consist of the assistant athletic director of marketing and fan development, and that person oversees the marketing for the men's basketball program. They also have a director of marketing who oversees football marketing in addition to baseball. And then Justin himself, who is the associate director, focuses on women's basketball and volleyball. And on top of the 3 full-time positions, they also have 3 marketing assistants who are typically post-grad interns, and these are typically not full-time positions. They usually last around 11 months with the option to extend into the following year, which Justin did when he was a marketing assistant post-graduation. And they also have a marketing coordinator. So next we talked about some important skills related to his current position as the associate director. The 3 big ones he stressed were time management, creativity, and adaptability, the ability to adapt to any situation. The time management, that was the first one he talked about. He said it's hugely important in his job. He also often has to balance multiple sports that are happening at the same time, along with the many other responsibilities that we talked about. He's responsible for kind of overseeing a lot of the marketing assistants, so he kind of has his hands in a lot of the sports that state has to offer. Creativity, he said, is also extremely important. Because you have to develop plans and scripts for each upcoming game. Creativity is of utmost importance for his position. Lastly, he talked about adaptability, and especially on game days, because the schedules that you lay out aren't always going to go as planned, when game day actually rolls around. See, the 9th question I asked him were, what exactly are some of the responsibilities on game day specifically? So each sport is kind of different. For example, football, the entire marketing staff is on hand at Carter Finley working on game days. And then for some of the other sports, the person that is the head of the marketing for that specific sport will be the one tasked with being the in-game producer at those specific events. And during that time, they're in communication with the rest of the marketing staff, the video staff, the PA announcer, a DJ if there is one. So basically, they coordinate all of the marketing activities on game days, which is a very large undertaking. Next question I asked Justin was, what do you enjoy most about your job and find the most rewarding? So he said that what he loves the most about the job is seeing the plans that he lays out come to fruition on game days, and being widely accepted by the Wolfpack fans. And just actually seeing all the hours that he puts into these plans pay off, and be able to see other people enjoy them at the actual game. Then the next question I asked was, on the flip side of that, are there any difficulties or drawbacks associated with his position? The big thing he talked about there was the hours. He stressed that it's tough if you don't have a support system or the desire to be in the field. You're going to burn out very quickly if you don't have the passion for marketing or athletics. It'll get old pretty quick. He said sometimes a single week can consist of around 80 hours of work. It could be less, could be more. He said basically you have to be able to put your head down and grind, to get through a work week of that magnitude. He also stressed that this wasn't necessarily a downside, but just something you have to be able to be willing to undertake. The fact that it's a continuous cycle. So much planning goes in on the front end of these events, and then the event passes and it starts all over again the very next day. It's basically a never-ending cycle from August until June after baseball is over. Uh, he also mentioned that on the positive side, there's not a lot of travel required. Most of the work that marketing does is done in office, so they don't have to travel across the country with the teams on top of the very strenuous hours they're already having to work. Uh, the next question was, I asked Justin, what is it like working in a collegiate athletics department in general, and how much interaction do you have with the rest of the department? So he said that basically, in the marketing department, they're working hand in hand with almost every other department within athletics. The marketing department is housed within the external relations department, which consists of marketing, video broadcast services, creative services, which is inclusive of video and graphic design, communications, Wolfpack Sports Properties, which is a third party for sponsorships, the ticket office, ticket sales, and the Wolfpack Club, which raises a lot of funds for what they do within marketing. So he said that every one of those departments, he's in communication with someone from that department on a daily basis. So he has his hands in a lot of what's going on in the athletics department. He also works very closely with other internal units such as game day operations, facilities, and the coaching staffs even, which I thought would be pretty cool to be involved in. He'll be in contact with those people at least multiple times a week. And so lastly, the last question I asked him was, so with what you know now, is there anything that you would have done differently during your time in college? So basically what he talked about was, when he was a student, even getting all the experience that he did have with the marketing volunteer program, he still had the idea that marketing, was just kind of showing up on game days and giving out a bunch of stuff and heading home and calling it a day. But he said if he had known when he was in college that it was, there was way more to that, writing the scripts, all the responsibilities involved on game days for the people higher up in the marketing department, he would have wanted to get more experience in the offices with those other responsibilities, as a student, so he had a more experience coming in. Like he said, that's what he looks for in the marketing assistants that he's hiring. So yeah, that's what we talked about. I think I learned a lot from him regarding collegiate marketing in athletics departments. Definitely sparked my interest, and I look forward to learning more about it in the future.